Listeners, episode 18 of season 2, we're back with another incredible investor here in the local market, Trey Nixon. He's been in the game since 2017, maybe a little bit before that. Over 300 single-family properties, the king of Airbnbs here, and he's also doing some massive multifamily projects that you're going to hear about in this episode. That plus 5 different cash-flowing businesses. All of that is going to be coming up in the next 40 minutes. This is an episode you do not want to miss, and we're pumped to bring it to you. Listen now. Oh, and listeners, we are back. Season 2, episode 18. We have, and right next to me, one of what I would say the OG home investors here in the CSR. He was doing it before it was cool, and he was doing it when we all wish we did it. This is Trey Nixon right across from me. Trey, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great, Matt. Thanks so much for having me today.
Yes, sir. And Trey, you just spouted out some numbers a second ago that were mind-boggling. But you've been on this since 2017.
Yeah, even a few minutes before that, I was in the military, so we have a big military presence here in the CSRA. So I was constantly getting stationed here. And I tell people, my wife watched too much HGTV, so she really wanted to flip a house. We were actually living in Hawaii in 2011, and I bought a house here in Augusta, sight unseen, for $25,000. And my plan was to move here for 4 months while I was in the military, fix it up, live in it, and then when we moved to Germany, keep it as a rental property.
Where do you go in Germany?
I went to Stuttgart, Germany.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I had 2 kids born there. It was a wonderful time there. But we bought this house and we flew all the way here and we got there and it was just in the deep war zone of a bad neighborhood.
Okay.
And we could not live there. And so that was my first house I ever bought. I had to go rent an apartment down the street and fix it up nights and weekends.
Oh, okay. So you bought the house sight unseen. So you didn't really know the area. You just saw the street name, but you looked on the map and you're like, I'm sure that's fine.
Found the cheapest house for $25,000, went and got a signature loan and just bought it online. HUD, owner occupied.
Boom.
Yep.
And then you got to it and you said, oh.
I got to it and there was about 30 drug dealers across the street. The house was actually boarded up and had been vacant for 15 years.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So,
amazing, still standing.
Yeah, it's still standing today. Like I drive by it occasionally to remember where I came from. But all that said, that's what started, the whole thing in Augusta for me. And we just loved it. We really loved the area, the community, the market, and, started doing it kind of full time. I was still in the military, but flipping houses on nights and weekends. I remember getting up early in the morning, driving by, checking on projects, lunchtime, shooting over there, meeting contractors. And then I was standing there and I was like, I'm going to make as much money as my bosses are all combined this year on the side. I think I want to get out and do this full time. And so I walked away from my W-2 job, as we say investors, in 2017, about 8 years ago. And since then, we've been fortunate enough to flip about 300 houses between fix and flips and wholesales. At one point, I owned 60 rental properties in South Augusta, just houses. We've sold a lot of those off. And now we sit and we're really focused on multifamily apartments in Augusta.
I saw some of those videos.
Yep, in the CSRA.
You need to link to some of those videos in the podcast episode. I want to put some in the description. I want to put some of those videos
I want to show you guys what we're doing, flipping apartment complexes.
That's incredibly interesting.
Yeah, but now we've got laundromats, apartment complexes, and we're really into the short-term rental Airbnb.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, and you're loving the Airbnb game.
I'm loving it. Okay. It's my best source of income right now. Like I tell people, hey, try to get 5 streams of income. Okay. You need 5 streams of income. I don't care if it's, think about it. Just my laundromat's got 5 streams. You got washers, dryers, ATM, snack machines, multiple streams of income inside your business. So this is my best stream of income because a couple things. Someone's checking in every other day, right? Okay. So it's constant cash flow, not like a long-term rental once a month. The best part about Airbnbs is that your asset is constantly in marketable condition.
Okay.
So what do I mean about that? It means you can have a long-term rental sitting there and someone moves in, the dog's chewing on the baseboards, the sink's leaking. They don't want you to come in. They don't want to tell you. You look at it in a year or two and the place is trashed. Well, a short-term rental, it's sitting there, right? It's ready to go. I could liquidate, right? The photos are done. It's staged because it's ready. The grass is cut because we have a landscaper. I could put a sign in it tomorrow. your asset is highly marketable and constantly marketable.
Oh, that's a great way to look at it. Okay. We're on. So you said 5 streams of income. I want to go on a little quick tangent.
Yeah.
We're on 3 right now.
Yep.
And I've read that before, and I like that. I like the idea of it and all the philosophy that goes behind it. What gets really for someone like me is the management of the 5 streams of income. Are you using any kind of product, services? Are you a spreadsheet guy?
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about that, because the systems and process will crush you, right? And they crush me and they eat me alive. I'm really actually only 22 years old. That's why I look like this. No, I'm just kidding. So let's talk about, property management, right? Since we're investors and we're talking real estate, I gave up on the long-term rental property a long time ago, right?
Okay.
I tried. I said, and I really think that if you're a new investor and you're looking for your first, second, third long-term rental, single family rental home, duplex, things like that, manage them yourself. I'm serious. Build out your spreadsheet, make the mistakes, because when you give it over to a property manager, which you will eventually, you'll know how hard that works. You'll know what they're doing, earn their percentage, their fee.
Mm-hmm.
So I love the opportunity. If you're going to grow a long-term rental portfolio, manage the first couple, but then once you get a couple, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, 12 was my number.
Okay.
And I tapped out.
Okay.
Because
At 12, I'm done. I'm done
because the problem is I have a big heart. So if you came to me with first and last month's rent, I'm sticking you out. No credit check. I feel your story about your car breaking down. Here's a car and a house.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I learned was I evicted everyone that I put in the house.
Okay.
So I'm no good at property management. So let's subcontract that out to the best in town. And then you've got to go through all the property management companies till you find one that works for you.
I got you. Who is you can give him a shout out. Who is your property management guy?
The absolute number one property management company in the CSRA, I don't care if you're in Aiken, South Augusta, wherever, is Augusta Rental Homes. Okay. Paul Rush and Jaron Bergeron are the best in business.
Friend of the show.
Yeah. Big time friends. And I'll give you another tidbit on them. Just this week, could have been last week. Yeah, it was Friday. They just acquired Doorpost, another company management. So now Augusta Rental Homes has 50 employees and 1,800 units under management. Makes them largest or second largest in town. And these two young men are phenomenal because they built a management company out of necessity. They were like, we got 60 houses. I got 3 apartment complexes. No one can manage them right. Let's build our own company to manage our assets. So you're looking at a management company that last week had 900 units and half of them were there.
Wow.
So who takes better care of your stuff than you?
You.
Nobody, right? So if you're looking for a property management company, I love Augusta Rental Home.
I love it. Yeah, Paul came on. Oh man, was that a year ago, year and a half ago, something like that? Was he season 2? He was season 1. Was he in the he was a skyscraper. That's right. Yeah, we moved down here.
He's a good guy.
He has. Paul's done really well. And so excellent. So you've done 300. You had 60 long-term rental properties. So you sold off some, you convert some of the Airbnbs. And what's the strategy behind those kind of decisions?
Yeah, I tell you, with long-term rentals, what I ran into is every single house is its own little entity, meaning if you have 60 houses, they all have different foundation problems. They all have different roofs. They all have different floor problems. And so getting a system or a process in place is impossible. As to where when I look at apartments or multifamily, I've got 4 units under one roof. Okay. So now I've got one roof with 4 rent payers versus one roof with 1 rent payer. That's all different kinds of, problems with the houses. And so I still love single family rentals, but I pivoted away from them because here's some free chicken for you. Okay. You will never make any money on a single family rental that has debt on it. Let me repeat that. You will never make monthly cash flow. If that's your goal, I want $200 a month per house. If you have debt on the house and someone else manages it, you will never make money ever. Okay. And you can try me on this one. We've been doing it for a long time.
I like this.
Yeah. This is something that Jim Haddon and I figured out, 7-8 years ago.
Okay.
That it just doesn't work. In the long run, you could be doing it, but let's say you make $300 a month off your rental house, right? Across a bunch of rental houses, which is a great return. But you get to the end of the year and you realize you did 2 HVACs at $4,000 a piece, $8,000. That's all your cash flow for the year.
You're done.
So great that you broke even, but like I said, you'll never make money. Single family rentals with debt.
Dead. Okay. And so that's where you start going to the Airbnbs higher. You're just trying to break through like to a higher level of cash flow.
Yeah, and also I've got shiny object syndrome.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
That's where the laundromats and the Airbnbs and kind of the multifamily came from. It's like, ooh, I want to do that. I can do that. Oh, I watched that on a podcast. I want to go do that. And I just struck out and tried it, and tried it my best and figured out what I like. What I don't like laundromat business. I still have one, but I'm not going to add more to it.
Okay. So interesting. So where's your laundromat at?
The laundromat sits at Lake Olmsted. You know, the old 7-Eleven right there in the middle, right by Broad Street and Millage Road, about a quarter mile from the Augusta National entrance.
Okay.
So I buy for location. So I saw that for sale as a commercial building back in 2020. And I was like, I like the location. So I went and looked at it, and it's a laundromat. Okay. So then I started doing some research about laundromat. And this is how I bought the laundromat with no money out of my pocket. This is a good story.
I love this.
Okay.
Story time.
So I wanted a laundromat. My lawyer told me I needed more cash businesses. Shout out to Wright McLeod, attorney at law. We get you cash businesses, right? Car washes, laundromats. So I was looking for one. I found the building. I loved the location, but the laundromat was a zombie. I mean, like no air conditioning, all the machines broken, just door chain shut, people living in there. I mean, you know the location.
Yes.
But we want to find a location that needs that service, right? And during the COVID era, we called it an essential business. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
It was an essential business we bought.
Select few essential businesses.
Yeah, laundromat was one of them for sure.
Really? Okay.
Yes. And so we never closed during COVID, but I went and bought the building, and I looked. The building was $250,000 with all the equipment. I was like, it's got to make a couple dollars a month. And so after you flip 300 houses, you get lenders. Hard money lenders, rich people like yourself that loan me money whenever I ask because you trust me. We've built a relationship. And so I called somebody and I said, hey, can I borrow $250,000 to buy this commercial building? Shout out Cliff Chanel. Hey, local investors, if you don't know Cliff Chanel, hard money lender, check out the link in the bottom. Send me a DM, reach out to Matt. We'll get you connected with Cliff. He loves to lend money on deals in Augusta. So Cliff lends me the $250,000 to buy the building, 100%. Great deal, Trey. Then I said, what am I going to do? So I reach out to laundromat distribution company to see how much it's going to cost to put new equipment.
Yep.
We understand the renovation, the air conditioning, paint, right? The flooring.
You know that. You've been doing it. You did it 300 times.
But we don't know about the equipment. So we reach out to the first company that we called was like, what's your lease on the building? No lease, man. We own the building. Oh, since you own the building, we'll come out, tear out all the equipment, install all brand new equipment, finance it 100% and train you how to use it. Said, sounds great. So they came out there, did all of that install, no payments for 6 months while we got the business going. And now we make, and then once it's all going, we took it to a bank, refinanced out of the hard money. Right. And so now we have one payment, paid Cliff back, got our reno money back. And now we bought it completely 100%. No money out of pocket.
Now instead of paying for the expensive real estate, now you have the equipment, but that's it.
That's it.
That's a little bit more of a digestible number. Is that equipment?
Absolutely.
How many washers and dryers?
I think it's a mix of about 27 washers, 27 dryers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's still a cash. It's still coin operated where everyone's gone to card. We really, look at our market and say, not everybody's got a credit card, a debit card in that neighborhood.
Yeah. We have this little peanuts nearby, and we use it for our big giant, like our beddings and stuff. And they have that little card, so you don't have the cards, and you go pure cash.
Right. We do have an option to use your phone as an app, but pure cash. And I'll tell you why is because there's a lot more poor folks than rich folks. Okay, and I've been poor. I've had $13 in my checking account where I can't get a 20 out of the ATM. But I can do a $3.50 load of laundry. I can bring my wet laundry down and dry it for $1.75.
Yep.
And so even twice a week, this is all over social media, but we have a special where everything in the laundromat is half off.
Okay.
My distributors, everyone told me this is stupid. You're going to lose so much money. But literally, I've got homeless people, single moms that come in there and can wash all their clothes and dry them for $5.
Right. Boom. And tell me a little bit about that promotion you do.
Yeah, that's every Tuesday and Thursday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's at the laundromat on 2257 Broad Street.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Check it out.
You said how much per load of laundry?
Everything's half off. So there's different machines, everything from $3.50 up to $9.
Okay.
So those are half off. So like we have machines that you can do $1.50 load of laundry.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. And you can dry for 25 cents.
That's a lot of load off. I commend you for that. That's a lot of pressure off for those single mothers, especially.
Well,
especially.
We really feel like if you're in a blessed position, you're there to bless others. I've been on the board of directors for the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Augusta for the last, 6-7 years.
Okay.
Kim Evans, those
Shout
people
out
over there. Kim is just amazing. She'd be great on the show. She knows everybody.
We need to get Kim on here. Actually, that's a great idea. We'll work on that.
I'll connect you. I'll make sure you get on that. But just a great organization, and just the whole mission behind them spurred me to go, what am I doing for the community? Like, what am I doing? So my wife and I looked around and we go, we could put this thing right here in this neighborhood where they really need it, and we can take care of it.
Yeah.
So I'd rather keep it clean than make money.
I love it. Now, okay, so cash business management. This is starting to become more of sadly a little bit more of a foreign concept, right? We were just moving to this digital age things, but you have a giant bucket of quarters. I mean, I'm talking like a comically sized bucket of quarters, I imagine.
Yes.
Okay. What do you do with this quarters? Do you have a machine?
This
you
is
take it to the bank still?
What do you do with that? Great question. So many people are confused about this. We keep about $2,000 worth of quarters.
Holy cow.
Which is about a full 5-gallon bucket, maybe, 2 halves.
And those things are heavy.
Yeah, they're super heavy. Think of it like this. They're just tokens.
Right.
With some type of value, So I really wanted to put, the place is called the laundry room. I wanted to put my face on the token, like, see you soon, come back again. But then, if you put a 20 in the change machine, you get $20 worth of tray tokens, but you only do $13 worth of laundry, you're going to leave with $7 of tray tokens that are only redeemable at the laundry room. You know what I mean? So like, maybe that's not fair. So what I did is use quarters. And so now you put a 20 in, you do $13 of laundry, you can leave with your $7 in quarters.
Yeah.
Think about this though. So when we go and we change them out, we go and we walk along the washers and we dump the quarters in the buckets. Then we just put the quarters back in the change machine, take the cash out to the bank.
Okay. That's what you do.
So the quarters never leave the building. They just come in.
The cash is
what comes out.
A little bit easier to move.
Coins are like tokens with some intrinsic value, So it's really, really simple. But I love the fact that, you talk about making money while you sleep. The laundromat's sitting there. And this is something cool, is that it's an unattended laundry.
Okay.
Alexa runs the laundry.
Really?
Alexa.
You're doing through your phone.
Yeah.
Turn the lights on.
So Alexa routines. You heard of this?
No, I have not.
So you can set routines for all your Alexa plugs and everything like that.
Right.
To turn on at certain times, to do things.
Okay. My wife knows about this.
Yeah. So Alexa routines runs my laundromat. So at 7 a.m., all the lights turn on, the music starts playing, and the doors unlock.
Wow. Okay.
And then, every couple hours, I have Alexa announcing the weather for today in Augusta. I have Alexa giving just updates throughout the day on the speakers of, hey, the laundromat closes in 30 minutes. Please make your in her voice. Right at 9:30 at night, the lights start dimming, the music turns off, the TVs turn off. At 10 o'clock, the automatic magnetic doors lock. You can go out, but you can't come in.
Okay.
So there goes times where I go weeks, months without going to the laundromat, and it still makes me money.
Wow. That's incredible.
The biggest thing is cleanliness, right? With anything in life. I have a cleaner that goes there 7 days a week. And out of the last 3.5 years, she's 3 or 4 days.
Nothing.
Insane.
Great cleaner. Now let's go on that. So that's just going to segue back to cleaning. So the Airbnb part with me. So I run some midterm rentals, and I love midterm rentals for a lot of the reasons you like Airbnbs is my stuff inside the building. Right. And people typically don't come in with a bunch of things. So I think wear and tear is lower. And quite frankly, I like the clientele. I like the people that they want to be there for 3 to 6 months and they want to get out.
Yep.
They're coming with the clothes on their back and they just want to be ready to go when they move in. We do a lot of Airbnb operations. We turn those midterm rentals into Airbnbs during Masters Week. And found out this year, I need to get better at Airbnb management because we got our behinds kicked with, we did not realize with Airbnb, you can confirm bookings. VRBO defaults to not automatic booking.
Correct.
Apparently. Guess how I found that out?
Double booked?
Oh, multiple times. Yeah. So that was cool. We made no money this
That's
Airbnb.
the worst thing that can happen to you as a host.
And so I volunteer at the Augusta National during as
Can't
I
even get
volunteer.
to.
So, well, they did when they realized it, because everyone would come in about 5 or 6 o'clock. So I've been on the course in the sun baking all day, and 6:30 I get a phone call and there's a shouting match outside my dang house, and I am forking out thousands of dollars just making it right.
Well, there's nowhere for them to go.
Yeah,
the biggest
there
part.
are. There's very expensive places to go. Because I don't know who they are, but somebody out there should be real happy with me, because I actually got them a booking for their way overpriced nightly Airbnb.
That's why I keep, when I have onesies and twosies open, I mark them up to $4,000 for the night. Like, come get it if you want it, because we get so many.
$4,000 a night. I probably got you one of those.
Hey, it goes back to what I said, that free chicken earlier. You're going to pay for your education, whether you do it in a classroom or the street. And that means, what if you took an online course of Airbnb and you paid for it, right?
Yep.
You're still going to make that mistake when you get out in the street.
And
So
you only make it once, I think.
yeah, I made it once. It was a little property over by Lake Olmsted in Bedford Heights on Eustis. And I double booked it, and it was 9 o'clock at night. And a family had been driving throughout 24 hours from Texas with their dogs, and got there at 9 o'clock at night, entered the code, and walked right in on my guest and his wife and his pistol sitting in the living room.
Oh.
And I went over, and eventually it was so nasty, the fight, that I had to just scream and yell and call the cops and get one of the guys out of there, and was basically like, take care of it on yourself. Yeah. I was offering hotels. I have another house, and he just wanted to fight, but I've never made that mistake. And,
wow.
And I'll tell you, one of the mitigation factors that we put in place to mitigate that risk, we use a software called Lodgify.
Okay. Yep.
So we use Lodgify, and Lodgify is a vacation rental, short-term rental, midterm rental, property management software.
Lodgify.
And it allows seamless integration with VRBO, Airbnb, Booking.com, Expedia, all these places. Our properties are listed on all of those. The messaging is all central located. So if you send a message on Airbnb, VRBO, any of these places, it lands in Lodgify.
Okay.
All of my calendar, and it all replicates. So if I make a change in Lodgify, it pushes it, pictures, write up everything to my listings across all those platforms.
So IDX is out. So you do your listings in Lodgify, and then IDX feeds out to all the other platforms.
Correct.
Oh, that's incredibly useful.
You can do task management. You can put your cleaners on there. You can have calendars.
Okay. So that was the question I was getting at. And one of the things that was in the butt was coordinating the cleaning.
Yeah.
In Airbnb.
I'll tell you a simple way that I do it. Okay. And this is it's gonna get me in trouble eventually. Okay. But let's talk about, you've got, 6 to 7 properties.
Okay.
All right. Probably something like that. I have one person, and what we've done is use an iCal. If you use an iPhone, so we have an iCal calendar. And so when someone books to check in today, they're going to check out Friday. We go on the iCal calendar, put, Airbnb checkout, the address, and it'll auto-populate. But then we put the cleaner on there. She gets a ding on her calendars. Every day she wakes up and goes, what do I have to clean this week? What's been added
It's already
overnight?
on there. Mm-hmm.
And that's a really, really personal connection with a cleaner that we've known for a long time. If you are starting out in this business, good luck. I mean, figure that out. Once again, I say, if it's your first Airbnb and you're trying to just make some additional cash flow, clean that house yourself.
Just clean yourself.
You, your wife, your mother-in-law, your brother-in-law, whoever's good and is trustworthy, figure out a standard, okay? Because getting a negative review for a non-clean house, I'll just go out and burn the thing down and start over.
That's
how I feel.
Detrimental. You see that you're not booking that place.
No, and everything is booked on review.
Yeah. I could see that all day. Yes, we talked a little bit about reviews in the beginning. So there's something you do. So you run a coaching network. You're helping young investors, follow your path,
Sure.
right? Do you have a name for your coaching, by the way?
Yeah, I do. I run a little program called Fearless Flipping, where I come alongside you and take the fear out of flipping houses and investing in real estate. But we do a lot more than that. It's short-term rental stuff, private coaching, things like that. You can really just follow all my social medias at Fearless Flipping or at Trey Nixon Official. I'm everywhere: LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and we just give out free tips all day long on really, it's our market specific things that work across the board for estate investing. And one of them is, these short-term rentals, these reviews. People are like, how do you get started? Let me give you some free chicken right now. A great technique is, if you're going to bring an Airbnb online, you've got a new little cottage, you just put furniture in there and you're ready to put it live and let's get our first booking. let's let your mother-in-law, let's let your friends, let's let Matt, let's let me book it. So, go on there, make it 2-night minimum, send me a request. I'm going to approve it. You're going to pay for it with your credit card, Matt. Right. And then when 2 days passes, you're going to leave me an incredible. You can go stay at the house if you want, but you don't need to. I need your great review. Right. And I'm not asking you to do anything unethical, unmoral, right? If you don't like the person or you don't think they're trustworthy, don't leave them a 5-star review. But if it's your friend and you guys are in this business and you know they do great work, or even pop your head and look at the house, be like, wow, it is great. But that's a great way to start, is have a couple people, your friends and family, leave you 5-star reviews. The algorithms, everything pushes you up to the top and just allows it to get in front of more people's face. It
That's
really
incredible.
helps you.
I love it. So the reviews is like anything, like even businesses, those reviews are. Airbnb doesn't want trouble properties. They want people who are getting the reviews, so they're pushing those properties to the top, giving you a better likelihood of getting booked.
Airbnb wants to make money. The only way they make money is when someone books your property.
Yep.
They're not out to get you. They're your partner.
Yep.
Right. That's what they want. And so if you booked 2 nights at my house and it charged your credit card $179, right? Some of that went to Airbnb. Let's say I got 138, right? Round number, something like that. And you send me a screenshot. Hey, I booked it for $179. You leave me a great review. I'm going to send you 250.
Yep.
Venmo, Cash App.
Simple investment.
Thank you. Right. Simple investment. Right.
I love it.
Yep.
And a tax write. Maybe.
Everything.
Can that be a tax write-off? I'm sure.
I mean, my haircuts are tax write-offs, right?
Uniform.
That's right.
Dry cleaner.
I require you to be in a nice outfit, so you have to go shopping, right?
Uniform.
That's right.
That's right, government. We're home real quick. Abby Grace, I've got a little, my microphone's on, set up there. Thank you. We can probably edit that out somehow. Grant, make a note. So, on the Airbnbs, what's the, this is cash flow thing, and with the nightly and you're cleaning and boom, boom. What are some of your KPIs for it's a good performing Airbnb, and what are when you're not seeing something, you have to make tweaks. What are you looking at?
So we call it niche flip. Right? It's my own little thing, like find a niche and flip into. Okay. So my first Airbnb, much like the laundromat, much like my first flip, fix and flip, just like rental properties and burrs and everything in real estate investing, I didn't know it was going to work. You've got to take a risk. You got to just roll the dice and put yourself out there. There's only so much analysis paralysis you can do, right? Just take action. Massive imperfect action beats analysis every time. So I had a little rental property and I was like, we want to do an Airbnb, but I don't know, I'm worried. I don't know. And so we used what we call a forcing function.
Okay.
The Masters is coming. We have this house across the street from the course. It's still no paint on the walls. It's 3 weeks till Masters. And someone here locally, shout out Christy Beckham, right?
Ooh, yeah.
Christy Beckham calls and says, you got any properties for a player last minute? And I said, this is a forcing function. We're 3 weeks out. Matt Kuchar gets here in 3 weeks. We got to get this house ready. There's no paint on the wall. Floors need sanding and furniture. And it forced me to get the property done, bring all the furniture from my own home, do everything I could, to give this golfer that place. And he loved it. Right. And so that forced me all of a sudden to go, oh, this works. It's a forcing function. So wash, rinse, repeat, guys. Don't,
nothing gets work done like having a guest coming very soon.
Right. And so that was a little 2-1 in Bedford Heights across the street from the Augusta National. And now we own 6 in there plus 3 lots, 2 or 3 buildable lots ready to go. Because we washed, rinse, repeat. You don't have to recreate the wheel. If something works, pour in.
Good.
If something, it's okay just to fish, right? We call it fishing. Right? They don't call it catching, call it fishing. So when you catch something, you don't pack up and leave that fishing hole.
No, you keep going at it.
You keep eating out of that hole. So a lot of us with shiny object syndrome, something works, we high five ourselves and we go to the next thing. It takes a lot of discipline to keep pouring into it. So the Airbnb thing, I'd say, it's great to have 1 or 2, right? If you and your wife and your spouse, you have 9 to 5 jobs, get 1 or 2. If you're going to have 1 or 2 rental properties, make them short-term rentals, cash flow, our assets constantly in marketable condition. You're going to be happier with it. You can always turn it long-term. You can always go to midterm. But if you find something that works, stick with it.
I love it. Do you you mentioned the multifamily and you're shifting your focus and you're your shiny object system, but
Yep.
the multifamily, multiple people under one roof. Now, are you Airbnb or doing short-term rentals rather? Because you're on all of it's not just Airbnb, it's all the platforms. Are you doing short-term rentals on within your multifamily unit?
I am not.
Is that even a thing? Can that be a
so
thing?
I know some people that arbitrage. Have you heard the term arbitrage?
Another word, don't know what it means.
Okay, so let's
spell it either.
Arbitrage is simple. What people are doing is they're going to a high-end apartment complex like the Premier.
Okay.
They're renting an apartment for $1,500 a month.
Oh, and they're subleasing it.
Then they're putting furniture in it and renting it for $3,500 a month via $119 per night.
Does the rental complex know?
You have to work all that in. You have to figure it out. You have to explain what you're doing. But the problem is there's vacancy in a lot of these luxury places. Crane Creeks, Premier,
the Heron.
So they're loving if you come in and say, I want to rent 3 apartments at full value, but here's my plan. They want to know who you're putting in there. And usually at the prices that we do, right? Niche flipping. So we found a niche, which is luxury, short term.
Okay.
But the apartments, I know some people that do them. We don't. I have a complex out off Deansbridge Road, kind of near Tobacco Road, that we've turned into a compound for military housing.
Okay.
It's called Ravenwood Apartments. Shout out Warfighter Housing. Great guys to have on cast.
Warfighter Housing.
Yeah, I'll get you connected with those guys.
I'll let you know about them.
They are real estate investors. I met them at Rio. They were coaching clients of mine. And they said, we've got a problem. They run a business that finds military people that come here for 12 months or less, housing.
Yep.
And per diem rates and things like that. So we completely flipped an entire 40-unit apartment complex just for them last year.
Love it.
And that's sitting there. It's a beautiful place, 3682 Deansbridge Road, Ravenwood Apartments, sick project.
And that's one of those niche things that's pure military. And they're built out with that in mind, that 12-month military guy.
And we don't we manage the building stuff, but ultimately the little Warfighter Housing, their company manages who stays there. And I think that they, even during seasonal, they had a building full of FedEx. Connected with FedEx. So they're all, it's 40 units of staged, ready to go turnkey TVs, everything, internet, with on-site amenities. It's only for short-term type stuff.
I love it.
I love multifamily, but I only love it in my backyard. I'm in love with it in Augusta. So in the past 3 years, my partner and I, Jaron Bergeron, shout out Augusta Rental Homes, Jaron Bergeron, we've bought 6 apartment complexes.
Okay.
And we're revitalizing the town. A lot of investors want to go, where can we go across the country and syndicate deals and put this big thing together? We think we can get to, 1,000 units in our backyard.
Yeah.
And
they're out there.
The way we're doing it is partnering with rich people like you, people in your backyard that say, hey, what are you guys doing? And we say, we're buying this 40-unit complex in your neighborhood. We're going to gut it. And then we're going to rent it back out and make it nice and manage it well. Why don't you loan us some money to do that? People just love that around. So we're making an incredible return. And that's really, something I'd love to talk about. We're actually, it may be, I don't know when this show will air, but we're buying the Somerville campus apartment.
Okay. Oh,
on McDowell.
That's exciting. Wow. Really? Okay.
It's the closest.
This will be out. When will this be out? This will be out in May, late May.
Yeah. So we're buying it May 6th. So we just bought it when this show comes out.
Okay.
40 units, the closest off-campus housing to Augusta University that exists. So it's short-term, mid-term rental.
Right.
Again. And we're buying it for an incredible price. And we plan to put millions into it. And then hopefully, have a long-standing traditional lease with Augusta University to take care of some more students.
Or student housing.
Yeah. So we're buying all kinds of stuff like that. So if you watch this podcast and you're interested in learning more about investing your money into multifamily in our backyard, send me a message. I'd love to talk.
I hope you have 40 very incredibly responsible, smart, studious kids, and you don't have a single 20-year-old version of me, because that is going to become hell.
I'll tell you
on
like
earth.
this. I don't care how many of you are there, as long as I have your parents to pay that credit card every month to pay that rent, because you're not paying the rent. The parents are paying the rent there.
We talk about having 13 cents in your account. I'll tell you that the biggest turning point in my life was I had a PlayStation 3, and I had to sell that thing for make my car insurance payment. And I said, and it was car insurance, and then it was just just general living expenses. And I said, "Ooh, we got to do something about this."
You're absolutely right.
When I was bottom.
When I was 17 or 18, I was living on my own. And I remember that my grandfather, when he died on my dad's side, had left me some shotgun that all his sons wanted, my uncles, who I had no relationship with anyway, really. But it was like at my stepdad's house somewhere. And I took that at 17, because it was mine, and pawned it for car insurance money to pay my car insurance so I could continue to deliver pizza and make money. And then, 10 years down the road, family reunion or a funeral or something, like, hey, what did you ever do with grandfather's Belgian Browning? And I was with the gold slide and the gold trigger. And I was like, I think I got $400 for it at a pawn shop back in 96, 97.
That's
so looking back on stuff like that's the kind of mistakes I know that my children need to make, but I'm just hoping that they don't.
They don't have to.
Yeah.
Maybe pawn something a little bit more consumable and not that's probably a $20,000, $30,000 collector item.
Who knows nowadays, but I let it go, right? We don't look backwards. We only look forwards.
Oh, that hurts me so many different ways. After the show, I'll tell you about about a local story here. Trey, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, man.
It's been really good. If you've been listening to this episode, Trey is once again just one of the biggest names. If you don't come out of this knowing you need to talk to him about any and all questions for real estate investing, I don't know how else to help you. I really don't, Trey. I really appreciate it, and I want to ask you one more question here, and we're gonna get off because my producers over there do not like me going over 30 minutes.
Love it.
5 minutes later, 6 minutes later. So, what is something that you were just really pumped for about Augusta 12 months? What are you looking really much forward to in our local area?
I think that this storm that came through September 27th, 2024, is going to be the most prosperous thing that ever happens to me and other investors, probably in my life. If you are an investor, I'm not speaking to, people that lost their home or just that tragic, I can't speak to that. What I can speak, if you're an investor, you're a realtor, you're looking for housing, if you're looking to build wealth in this town in the next 36 months, 12 to 36 months, it is a gold mine. Mm-hmm. It is a 100% gold mine. We don't even understand the amount of houses that are still sitting with trees on them, let alone with tarps on them. People are still sitting there saying, I'm going to use this insurance money. But things are going to come up. You're going to have to fix your car. You're going to do things with that insurance money. And eventually you're going to have to sell that house. We buy houses, right? Yep. We buy junk houses. Mm-hmm. And right now there's thousands of them just sitting ready for us to go. So if you're watching this and you're in this market and you're just trying to get motivated, you're trying to get off your butt, figure this out, you can get flat rich in the next 12 months. You can make an extra 100, 200,000 just finding these houses. That's all we need you to do is find them. I don't need you to buy them. I need you to find them and get an appointment. That's all you have to do. You can make so much money with no money out of your pocket wholesaling houses in Augusta in the next 12 months. That's what I'm excited for. I'm excited for people that watch this podcast and go, holy cow, my next door neighbor's got a house with a tree on it. Go talk to him and tell him Trey Nixon wants to buy your house. Can he come give you a cash offer? I will pay you tens of thousands of dollars for doing that. And so will a lot of other people in town. So will Matt. I mean, there's so many opportunities that I'll tell you in the first 2 weeks after the storm, I was depressed. I said, this is it. I've lost everything. This is the one that takes me down. I'm thinking bankruptcy. Now we went 12 days, no power, kids, basement, like
5 kids, right? 4 or 5?
4 kids. Yeah.
4 kids.
And so I thought this was it. This was my downfall, right? This was the end of it. And after about 10, 12 days and the fog cleared, I go, we buy houses. We buy junk houses. This is such a blessing. So if you're a real estate investor, aspiring real estate investor, trying to figure out how to get back into it because you've been out of it for a while, go find some deals. They are absolutely everywhere. Get them to a wholesaler, joint venture, wholesale them, do whatever you have to, and start stacking your cash.
I love it. I love it. Great. It's been a pleasure. Wishing you and the family. And by the way, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we just
actually want to talk about that. Give me a few minutes. I want to hear about this little quick story. When on this.
So probably along this same time, leaving the Army, We're flipping houses like crazy. And I'm talking 7, 8, 9 flips plus 5 full gut renovation rentals going on at the same time and funding it all and everything. God laid on our heart to adopt. Yeah. My wife and I, we had young children, but we knew that we can't change the world, but we can change someone's world. We knew that we were wealthy with love, right? That we had more love than we could even hold inside, right? Our house is overflowing with, our bank accounts are full of love. So what do we do with all this love, right? How can we help somebody else? And so God laid it on our heart to adopt. And so we searched all over the world. My wife was, but at the same time, we were also doing mission trips down in Haiti.
Okay.
And so all of a sudden, Haiti was laid on our heart that we loved it. We loved the people. And so we've been in the process of adopting this young man home for 8 years from Haiti. So 8 years. And, 3 or 4 back in the, right at COVID, I was there in February of 2020 and had to get out of there because of COVID. But we haven't been able to go back since COVID.
So it was 8 years because of the COVID, just delays from that.
The COVID turned into gangs run the entire country. We gave it, the U.S. gave it a new designation. It's a 4th world country. It's 90 miles from.
Wow.
It's worse than Somalia right now. And we just kind of sweep it under the rug. But he just got home 2 months ago. He's a healthy 8-year-old little boy named Wes Kinley, and he's just dialed in, fell into our family. And it's amazing. So now we have 13, 11, 9, and 8. So we need to buy houses. You got a house you want to sell? Call me.
I love that. That's an incredible story. And Trey, you got a lot of good things coming to you. We wish you the best. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it, buddy.